This is my channel. Join me. One south, a countdown to zero. One broken heart, two shattered bones, three haunting waltzes, four vanished lovers, five forbidden rituals. It's time to enter the Grand Meridian Ballroom. The year is 2024, and you are watching part one of our 5-part limited series. I am your host, and this is One South. Our story begins on the evening of June 1st in the city of St. Petersburg, Russia. Aided by crutches and a fresh set of stitches, Isabella Reyes gingerly hops into the echoing hall. 6 months ago, she took a wrong turn on a frozen canal and ate pavement at 40 kilometers per hour. The result, a triple fracture in her right ankle that required plates and screws to repair. But while her doctors predicted months of rehab, Bella was cleared by week 1. And now she walks, or at least limps, into the Grand Meridian Ballroom, an abandoned Soviet-era relic. Still stitched to her ankle, not to mention her tattered jeans and tank top, are telltale signs of a life lived large. Not that it matters here, for behind her, the iron gates clanged shut with a finality that surprised her. She turned slowly, eyes scanning the shadowy recesses of the cavernous hall. Dust motes hang suspended in the stale air and overhead. A lone wobbling chandelier casts grotesque shadows on the peeling gold leaf, and there, emerging from the gloom, is a man. Dressed all in black, he moves with a predatory grace that makes him seem almost alien in this desolate space. His dark hair falls across intense gray eyes, his lean face framed by sharp cheekbones. He speaks first. "You shouldn't be here. This place is closed." Isabella raises her chin defiantly. "I know what I'm doing here, and I won't leave until I get answers. Who are you?" He smiles faintly. "That's the least important question. What brings you to this forsaken place?" She tells him about her accident, the doctor's grim prognosis, and her astonishing recovery. "And now I want to run again, to dance." "Is that so strange?" Nikolai Volkov takes a step closer, eyes boring into hers. "Dance, yes, here, no. And especially not alone." He offers her a hand. "Let me show you something." She hesitates, then takes it. "Do you believe, Isabella, that everything which has happened to you was meant to be?" "Of course not." "Why would you ask?" "Because what I do here cannot be learned in an instant. It requires preparation, surrender, and a willingness to trust the process." With a shrug, she follows him deeper into the hall, where sunlight streams through grimy windows. It paints stripes across the worn parquet floor, making it glisten like a sheet of polished steel. They stop in the middle of the largest stripe. "This is as far as we go today." His expression is grave. "What do you want from me?" "To dance with you," he says softly, "and show you somatic resonance." He gestures around them. This room is charged with a history of sound, with echoes of waltzes past. Tonight, we simply let ourselves be swept away. Tomorrow, we begin. She arches an eyebrow skeptically, but doesn't argue. As long as she can dance, it hardly matters where. He leads her to a faded fresco on the wall, then bows deeply. "Then lead on, Mr. Volkov. Call me Nikolai." He rises and offers her his hand again. This time, she places hers on his shoulder, and together they glide onto the dance floor. It is 11:34 p.m. on June 2nd, and Nikolai leads Isabella through complex figures. As the music swells and the tempo quickens, she feels a deep stirring within her chest. Something inside her is awakening, growing stronger with each passing measure. Then it hits. The bass drum thumps, the cymbals crash, and her foot catches on a loose floorboard. She stumbles, but Nikolai is there to catch her, his grip firm, reassuring. "Easy, little dove," he murmurs in her ear. "You will find your footing soon enough." And as if in answer to his words, Isabella feels a surge of pure adrenaline. She kicks off her crutch, then the other. Barefoot and unaided, she rises and spins on the spot, her laughter echoing in the vast space. For the first time since her accident, the world tilts back beneath her feet. As the music reaches its crescendo, she throws back her head and leaps into his arms. He spins her, twirls her, catches her as she falls back into his embrace. Then, quite suddenly, it's over. The last notes fade away and silence descends once more. Panting, Isabella looks down at her ankle, half expecting to see blood, but the wound is clean, the stitches intact. "What just happened?" she whispers. Nikolai presses a finger to his lips, eyes wide with wonder. "Don't speak, listen." They stand there, bathed in the cold light of the chandelier, as the echoes of the music die away. "We have awakened something ancient here tonight," he says finally, his voice hushed. "Something powerful and beautiful." Her gaze returns to her ankle, noting the absence of pain. "So powerful that it erased my stitches?" "Perhaps," he replies cryptically, "or perhaps they were never really there at all." It is 12:01 on June 3rd, and Nikolai guides Isabella to the center of the room, where sunlight streams through a break in the clouds. "Every night at midnight," he begins, "the body's hidden current lines up with Earth's darkest pulse. It is a time of potent energy when the barriers between worlds are at their thinnest. That is why we meet here, to harness the power of this moment, to experience somatic resonance." She nods slowly, though she doesn't fully comprehend his words. She does, however, understand the look on his face and the urgency in his voice. "But we must hurry," he adds, glancing at the locked windows. "There are only 3 minutes." 3 minutes later, the security cameras blink out for 3 minutes every night. 4 nights later, Isabella discovers the blueprints for the Grand Meridian building. Hidden within the basement level is a walled-off sub-basement once leased to a mesmer society. 6 nights later, her smartwatch, which had recorded a flatline heart rate variability during the sessions, meaning clinically impossible, is now working properly again. 7 nights later, Nikolai reveals that he's descended from the defunct 1890s Remia Circle, a dance-based cult founded by Russian mystic Vladimir Verbitsky. 8 nights later, they reach the room at the end of the corridor. 9 nights later, they learn that Verbitsky was banned from Tsarist Russia for practicing a form of hypnosis known as mesmerism. 10 nights later, the chandelier begins to sway violently, threatening to smash to the floor. 11 nights later, Nikolai reveals that the ember prisms were reputedly carved to imprison wandering voices, spirits thought to wander the halls of the Grand Meridian. 12 nights later, Isabella finds floor markings that match Fibonacci spirals, suggesting a sacred geometry to the choreography. 13 nights later, her post-session x-ray shows faint lattice patterns overlaying her new bone tissue, indicating accelerated healing. 14 nights later, Nikolai reveals that he sets the sessions for the 7.83 Hz Schumann resonance spike, which should accelerate cellular regeneration. 15 nights later, the music swells and she hears a full orchestra playing inside her ribcage. 16 nights later, Isabella realizes that Nikolai isn't actually teaching her how to dance. Rather, he is leading her through increasingly complex figures, allowing her to follow his movements. 17 nights later, he steps away from her and she collapses in a dizzying spiral. 80 nights later, she wakes up alone in the ballroom, barefoot and unscathed. Her clothes are ripped and her body aches. 19 nights later, she goes back to the hospital and the doctors can find nothing wrong. 20 nights later, Nikolai asks her to take off her boot and shoe. 21 nights later, she dances on the shattered remnants of her crutch. 22 nights later, he tells her, "Tonight we push through the boundaries of the physical self. Whatever comes, don't resist. Trust me." And in the small hours of June, as the music crescendos and the chandelier swings wildly, she finds herself trusting him completely. If Nikolai's midnight ritual truly aligns human biology with an unseen planetary frequency, what other abilities might be unlocked when the clock strikes 12? Physical, psychic, who knows? But if you're looking for a love story, look elsewhere. This is One South, coming soon to a midnight near you. A huge thank you to our supporters. Your support makes it possible for us to bring these stories to life. If you would like to join our amazing community and have your name added to the credits, please visit our support page.